Okay, this is the cash overview, the cash details section, and this is where you will list out all of your budget categories that are cash based. Quick note on that: some people don't like using cash when it comes to budgeting. Um, the reason I recommend using cash is because two main things. One, it eliminates record keeping, and two, it gives you a clear picture of how much you have left in a budget category. I recommend it. Um, it's up to you, but I'm gonna give you a quick example. If you eat out one evening and you spend $35.67 and you use a debit card, and let's say you had $50 in your eating out budget, well, you've got about $22 left, and you might be able to remember that for a while. But if you have 5 or 6 categories like that, you're gonna be unable to remember the remaining balances in each one. And if you have some sort of record keeping system, that works, but it takes time, and time is extremely valuable. And so when you have cash, you don't have to keep the receipts, unless of course you're going to return the item or you're doing cost comparisons. And you know exactly how much you have left in your budget category without any record keeping. It's extremely simple, and the goal in this package was to make it very simple because I recognized um, how important time is to people and how valuable it is, and I wanted to develop a system that was extremely simple to use and that did not take much time. You will realize that doing this the first time does take a fair amount of time, but once you get it set up, the monthly review is pretty straightforward and doesn't take that much time. So its initial setup is a little bit, but then once you get it established, going forward, it's very straightforward. So that's the reason you use cash. Eliminates record keeping and tracks the remaining balances in your budget categories, which is crucial to ensure you don't overspend. It's a basic of budgeting, not overspending, and cash makes that very easy to avoid. So what this is you'll copy your budget categories over from your main budget dashboard, or the budget, the how down here. Copy those categories over for all your cash categories. The monthly amount will automatically flow, and this is basically where you will list out the denominations, the dollar denominations you want for each category. And what this does is it makes it really simple for when you go to the bank to withdraw your cash. It'll total the denominations that you want, and then you can go back and assign the denominations to each category. It makes it very simple to do that. So it simplifies the cash record keeping part. The second section here is your envelope section. I recommend having 3 envelopes if you're married, 2 if you're single. One envelope is the one you carry around with you. It has your most frequent expense categories, budget categories, such as eating out, groceries, miscellaneous, the ones you use regularly. And then I recommend a house envelope for your accumulation categories that you don't have a bank account for. Let me briefly talk about that. There are certain budget categories that you do not spend 100% each month. For example, a medical expense budget category, you might put aside $200 each month and only spend $50 one month, and so you accumulate $150. There are 2 ways to track this. One is to have an envelope system at the house, which I recommend. I do personally, is where you'll have an envelope system at the house where you have certain categories that accumulate that aren't used on a regular basis. Medical, education, books, things like that. They're kind of smaller categories, but they accumulate over time, and they're not a month-to-month expense. And then I recommend having another type of category, such as car expenses, travel, house fund, your emergency fund. I recommend having a separate bank account for those categories, and so they accumulate in the bank account, and you can transfer money each month to those budget categories. I recommend when it comes to banking that you do not pay anything for your bank accounts, saving or checking. If you're being charged a monthly fee, I think you should ask for it to be waived or switch banks. And your bank needs to have a user-friendly app that makes it really easy to manage your finances, and it makes it really easy to do bill pay and transfer funds between bank accounts. It simplifies the budgeting and personal financial management. So, the 2 envelopes if you're single, 3 if you are married. The envelope that you carry around, the envelope system that you carry around, should be your frequently used categories, and the one that stays at the house should be your accumulation cash categories that don't get over 1,000. I use it as a ballpark. If it's over 1,000, I'd recommend opening a bank account. Less than 1,000, probably just accumulate it at the house. That way, again, no record keeping. You don't have to track your bank balances within a bank account. So let's say you had one bank account, and 5 different budget categories. Good luck tracking those 5 different budget categories. It's a pain. So this makes it really simple to do that, whether you're in the house with categories or your categories are large enough that you need to use a bank account. So that's what this is. It just gives you a clear, when you're doing your allocation, it'll just tell you, okay, these budget categories go in this envelope, these budget categories, this one, go in this one, and these go in this one. So it just makes it really simple to allocate. Again, the goal here was to save you time and make it very simple to use. So this is the cash overview, cash details section.